Alright people, it's finally here. UFC 319, August 16th, this Saturday night in Chicago. Card stacked from top to bottom with absolute violence, undefeated killers, veterans of the sport, and many other fighters who've been through absolute wars and are expecting to go through more. We've got Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev live in the main event. That's going to be deciding the future of the middleweight division and the champion. Co-main with one of the United Kingdom's brightest stars, Lerone Murphy, taking on one of the most dangerous finishers in the game of Aaron Pico, and a main card filled with matchups that could steal the show before the big boys even walk out. Today I'm going to be breaking down every single main card of the fight, as well as two featured prelims that I'm very excited for. We'll look at the numbers, the styles, and the little details that can make the difference when that cage door closes. Main event, Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. Let's start with the big one. Still Knox versus Boers. On paper, this is a razor close matchup. Both men are 31 years old. Finish rates are at an absurd rate, with Dricus at 87% of his wins coming by finish and Khamzat Chimaev at 86%. Both have never been stopped in the first round, but here's the key difference. First, output versus accuracy. Dricus lands over 6 significant strikes per minute, 6.12 to be exact, but with his accuracy at 49%. Khamzat's an absolute sniper, hitting 59% of his shots, but with slightly less volume at 5.36. Defensively, it's a tale of two different styles. Dricus defends 54% of his significant strikes and 50% of takedowns. Solid numbers, but for Khamzat Chimaev, he's never been taken down in the UFC. 100% takedown defense. You don't get much cleaner than that. Next, we got fight time. Dricus has gone to war before. His average fight time is nearly 14 minutes of 15 of 25 total championship rounds. Khamzat's average is 6 minutes. That's the number that really tells the story. Khamzat's used to running full speed at people, running through them before the first horn even echoes, getting that takedown, getting that submission or ground and pound victory. The question really is what happens if Dricus Du Plessis survives that first round storm. If this gets into the 4th or 5th round, does the perfect wall of Khamzat wrestling defense start to crack? Or does Boers continue to keep train rolling his offensive, go up against Dricus, and add another name to the list of victories he's gotten? Co-main event, Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. From middleweight chaos to featherweight fireworks, or in this case, just a featherweight moving up a weight class. Aaron Pico, we know this is going to be absolute crazy. Now, Lerone Murphy is undefeated at 16 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw, and 1 no contest. He's a calculated striker with 54% accuracy, a rock-solid significant striking defense at 62%, the ability to fight deep into rounds. His average time is almost 15 minutes, and he's shown to be able to go the full 15 or 25 against Josh Emmett. Across from him, Aaron Pico, and we all know that Pico does not fight for points. He's got an 84% finish rate, 7 first-round finishes in just 17 fights. He's very dangerous early on in the fight. The problem for Pico is that his history shows that if you can survive the early storm, the fights can swing away from him, and Murphy's very patient, and his disciplined style could force Pico to get frustrated, and then the longer this goes, the more the stats will tilt towards Lerone Murphy. The tension here is pretty simple. Does Aaron Pico land a big shot early, or does Murphy turn this into a slow methodical breakdown, and keep that 0 in his loss column? Next, we got Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. Now, it's a classic old school MMA question, experience and grit or youth and firepower. Tim Elliott has been there with the best. He's fought 34 professional fights, lands 47% of his takedowns, gone the distance 16 different times. He's crafty, he's durable, and he makes his fights ugly. Kai Asakura, on the other hand, is a sharpshooter. He's younger by 7 years, lands 59% of his strikes, has a 76% finish rate, built mostly on knockout power. If Elliott can turn this into a scramble-heavy, grinded-out fight, he can steal rounds and win. But if he hangs around in Asakura's striking range for too long, it might be a short night, and he might be put down and put to sleep. Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Page, middleweight striking, clinic incoming. Jared Cannonier is a power striker through and through. 72% finish rate, 10 career knockouts, a pace that can break most opponents. He's 5'11" with a 77.5-inch reach advantage or disadvantage. He's used to closing the gap on the taller guys such as MVP. Again, MVP, different type of tall, 6'3", a 79-inch reach, so double advantage there. One of the most unorthodox striking styles in MMA and the UFC especially. He lands 62% of his shots, which is just absurd at the level, and his output is lower at 2.53, but even more accuracy. This fight is going to come down to whether Cannonier can cut the cage and find that chin, or if MVP is going to keep him at range, frustrate him, and pick him apart with precision like he did against Kevin Holland. Let's not forget as well, Cannonier is 41. That kind of age against a speed-based striker like MVP can be a dangerous mix. Geoff Neal versus Carlos Prates, the opener might. This one is a sleeper fight, banger of the night. Geoff Neal is a proven striker, 51% accuracy, 5 significant strikes per minute, and some of the best takedown stats in the division at 88%. He's durable, technical, and has the kind of experience that survives fire. Carlos Prates is the definition of fire in this fight. 90% finish rate, 16 career knockouts, a reach advantage at 6'1" with 78 inches to work with. The risk, he's been caught early before, 5 first-round losses on his record. We can expect violence here. If it ends early, it'll probably be Prates by knockout. If it drags into the later rounds, Neal's experience can start to take over. Second featured prelim of the night, Nursultan Ruziboev versus Bryan Battle. A classic grappler versus striker scenario, but with a twist. Ruziboev is a great striker as well. Nursultan Ruziboev has 36 career wins, 20 by submission. He's massive at a 6'5" with a long frame, perfect for clinch work, clinch control, and ground pressure. And he has a finishing rate of a ridiculous 92%. Bryan Battle is a high volume definition of chaos. He lands 5.12 significant strikes per minute and thrives when he's the one pushing the pace. The biggest stat is going to be Ruziboev's takedown defense is only 33%, so if Battle can stuff the first shot and make Ruziboev work for it, that gas tank can empty fast. But if Ruziboev gets this to the mat early, you can have very little chance of getting him off you with that frame. First prelim of the night, or featured prelim of the night, one of my favorite fights happening, King Bobby Green versus Diego Ferreira. We know that King Green brings volume and pressure, over 6 strikes per minute, 53% striking accuracy. He can knock you out. He's shown to be able to submit people, and he can win on points. Ferreira is a submission ace with 37% of his wins coming by tap out, plus he has a slight reach advantage. This fight will come down to where it's fought. If Ferreira can drag it down, he's going to have the edge. But if King Green can keep it standing, he's got the weapons to outpoint or even stop Ferreira late. So there you have it. UFC 319 from top main event to the first featured prelim of the night, bottom. This is one of those cards where every fight has finishing potential and potential to be an absolute banger, and the numbers back it up. For my picks, I'm leaning Dricus du Plessis by a war, either late knockout or decision. Lerone Murphy by a decision. Kai Asakura by a knockout. MVP by a split decision. And Carlos Prates by an early and vicious knockout. I've got Bryan Battle by an upset decision, and then King Green by winning in a brawl. That's just me. What about you? Drop your picks in the comments below. Let me know where you think I got it wrong personally and who you've got walking away with the win. Hit that like button if you're hyped for UFC 319. Subscribe for more breakdowns, and I'll see you at Fight Night.